Saying, hey, this, we know God, we presume to know God, yeah, because of these books. And these books were written by men. Yeah, man, they were written by men. Some of them were dictated to by angels. Some say, I would say, yeah, look at the Pentateuch with Moses, mystical book, but he wrote 7 books, well, just 5. He wrote Pentateuch, you know what I mean? There's 2 books hidden, well, yeah, secret books, but because it was perfect, the perfect number 5, the Pentateuch, the book of 5. Yeah, and when you look at the 4 ways to interpret these texts, mate, you've got, let's see, call it Pardes, you've got, I was speaking about Remes, I've got to look it up, right, I should have actually wrote it down. I'll actually give a diagram so Cameron can put it up. Yeah, Pardes, it's Remes, that's another one. One of them's called the Sod, which is the mystery of the books. 4 ways to interpret every religious text. And one of them is legally. The Remes. It's looking at the book just as a legal book, just as a law book, nothing else. No a Bible, no a book of. This is just a book on law. And this is where the Talmud came. And this is where you could say certain surahs, yeah, for the Quran came. And it's dangerous thinking. Yeah, because they're presuming you know what God is. As soon as you presume you know what God is, it's the opposite. It's the Quran and that tells you, man. Do you know what I mean? And then, like black magicians, Cameron. We'll go back over what we did.
Say what?
I says we'll go back over what we did.
Yeah, yeah, the golems and the banking systems and stuff that you were talking about.
Yeah, well, we've got to take into this because this is where all our modern day. I'm not saying your system's perfect as well, yeah. Our modern system, our Christian system, are the ideas we've come up with because we were once the same, you know. There's certain ideas in religion, like especially in the Islamic faith, you know, that you're not usury, you know, like you use a man for profit, yeah. But in Christian Judaic, we've forgot these. We forgot this. That you're not allowed to go using usury. It's in the Bible. It's in the Quran. It's in the Torah. Don't go using people. It's God says this is mine. 10%. I want it back. You know what I mean? And then you've got people in the world like some of your Rothschilds and these kind of people who've got power.
I think the problem with modern, like even Christianity, is they focus too much on the Bible. And I'm not saying that that's a bad thing, but it's the written word of God. It's not the word of God. God spoke creation into existence through the word, and you got to look through everyday life. God's formula, God's laws are in your heart. They're in your everything you see throughout the day. And that's how all the past prophets were able to communicate with God, was through their environment, not just a book. And that's what gave them knowledge to write a book. Now, a book can bring people to God, but not, I mean...
Yeah, that's what's the British knowledge, isn't it, brother? But as I'm saying, there's 4 ways to interpret it, and everybody should know these 4 ways. But a lot of people don't. They just want the literal, Cameron. They just want the literal, and it's like, how can you go with the literal Come on, there's some strange things in the Quran, there's some strange things in the Torah and the Bible. We're talking donkeys. Balaam. Balaam beats his donkey and it talks to him, man. And then the angel comes in and gives him a slap. There's a deep meaning to Balaam, because Balaam was an ass of a man. An ass of a man. You know, a donkey. And that's why Jesus rode into Jerusalem under a donkey. Yeah, to signify he wasn't an ass of a man. Do you know what I'm saying, Cameron? And what did he do? When we went into the temple, brother, he seen it had been turned to thieves and charlatans, and yeah, today it's turned to your gurus and your some black magicians. Yeah, look at the Catholic Church. Catholic Church stemmed from a black magician, the bones of Simon Magus. People say, oh no, St. Peter. No, it was Nero's magician. It was Simon Magus. Yeah, a lot of people don't like the thought of that. Yeah, but Jesus came out in the temple and it was money. Money, money, money. And that's what rules the world today, is money. I'm going to speak a little bit about that, Cameron. Yeah, the government again. Yeah, governments and fictions and stuff like this. In the 16th century, there was two companies, two corporations in the world, first ever created corporations. And Adam Weishaupt, one of the Illuminati magicians, they came to the ideas, they say, man can't, government's an ass. Yeah, especially government for countries, because each country will argue and the government will represent the peoples of that state or whatever, so there'll always be friction. So if you make the nations one nation, one world order, then there'll no fight anymore, but you'll still have to have a common kind of. So that's how you see, like, the Senate. You know, if you look at the Senate on a large scale, like United Nations, if you had to kind of mix up the American style politics with the United Nations, that's what the New World Order politically would be. I don't see anything bad with that, Cameron, because we fight over stupid shit. And it does say that in the Bible, make the nation one nation and we'll fight them more. But there's other stuff like property, stuff like that. Man can't own property because we're finite existence. Yeah, where corporations can own property, and they, you know, eventually, they'll last longer than man will. So, yeah, you get a lot of people like
Adam Weishaupt fooled people into believing in some type of freedom, but this freedom was like a total freedom, like a do whatever you want type thing. And that's why I said Crowley carried on within the OTO, which the OTO was started by people that resurrected the original Bavarian.
It's the laws. This is the whole thing. Crowley's do as thy will is the law. No, it is do as thy will is the law. The 10 Commandments. God gave us 10 Commandments. That's 10 laws. So here's 10 laws, man. See if you abide by these 10 laws, you'll be fucking fine in my eyes. And Jesus came and broke them down. This guy, Yeshua, or Jesus, who was basically, he was Jewish. Yeah, he was from. His dad Joseph was a Judite, but Jesus was born there of Hangway. No, Jesus was born for a royal bloodline. He was a Judite. His mother was a Benjaminite, who were the priestesses. They were the priests of the tribes, right? So the two top tribes were separate, 10 tribes to the north and the 2 to the south. The 2 to the south were the Benjaminites and the Judites. 2 top tribes, they were your royal lineage and your priesthood. This is why John the Baptist's, Mary Jesus' mum, she was a Benjaminite, and John the Baptist was her cousin or something. Yeah, she was related through blood. You know what I mean? He was a famous priest. So that's kind of what's going on there, right? But from that carry on, man, became kings and all of that shit. Do you know what I mean, Karen? Righteous kings, and some no unrighteous kings. Do you know what I mean? And he gave us kings to be judged. People who say, look, you can't do that, you can't do that, like wise King Solomon. Do you know what I mean? You're always going to get somebody who's going to try and, no rule over you, but it's, you always need a wee bit of guidance for what Plato would call philosopher guidance or some shit like that. People who are, smart enough to be able to judge wisely and not be, like you would say with some religious people today who would go hacking people's heads off and doing all types of nasty shit. Do you know what I mean? It all comes down to the law. And Jesus basically said, 2 laws. Love thy neighbour as thyself, and love God. That's that. There's 2 laws. Love your neighbour as yourself. And how many people can love their neighbour as themselves, mate? actually love him like a brother.
I definitely agree with that. And see, I love Christ's teachings for the fact that he got persecuted for calling people out. That's why people didn't like him. I mean, he went straight into synagogues and was like, why are you using this to just make money off of people? Why are you, you've made this into a den of thieves and stuff like that. You know, it's not anything that it's supposed to. You guys are misusing this system pretty much. And, people are like, man, this dude's calling us out. People are figuring out who we really are and what we're doing with this stuff. And so that's why he was hated. And anytime anybody throughout history has done that or tried to do that and been like, hey, listen, this is what's really going on. These people are using all this just to control you. And that's what people don't understand. Like, Christianity has had its bad moments because the wrong people were behind it and were using it for their own willful deeds,
that's why when my studies, I've came to a conclusion. That's what it's all about. People talk about bloodlines, these bloodlines. Yeah, these bloodlines are at war. Nobody knows that there's some mystical shit in Freemasonry, real mystical shit in Freemasonry to do with Tipperary and to do with the bloodlines of the Stuarts and Tipperary being killed or usurped, the king being usurped by other, dubious bloodlines. They were seen who were not so honest kings, and that's how I think America was created. It was created as a republic because the kings of Europe were the feudal barons. I mean, you look when Adam Weishaupt first came about with the Illuminati, he said some really beautiful stuff. He said, look man, all the stuff he said, I actually agree with him. So if people like say, I'm Illuminati, fire in me, you know what I mean? I'm not a left-hand magician or a right-hand magician, but I can see that there's goodness in the right hand, but I see there's you can learn for the left, but there's nothing good comes from practicing ceremonial theurgy, which is summoning demons. You know what I mean, Cameron? Demons are a dangerous one, especially, Ashmodee and these kind of things. But back to these fictions why so? Because I'm finding this a lot of stuff for the video you gave me. A lot of interest in, just for looking at it. Quality, brother. Yeah, man. Love it. Yeah. So, this Weishaupt did. I like how he's saying, sometimes he became a bit of he thought he was a bit of a man, eh? I'm a king, I should be and then he was corrupted, and then all the black magic came in. But then you look at the grimoires, everybody talks about the Catholic Church, Rome. Let's talk about Rome. Simon Magus, the bastard children of fucking Nero and Caligula, these kind of people. That's what Rome turned into. Caesar turned into Caligula, turned into debauched freaks. Do you know what I'm saying? That's what happens to your rulers and your kings. You know what I mean? What's it? Power and wealth corrupt. Absolutely, brother. Do you know what I'm saying? And then from that dubious, dodgy shit hand, and then you get up to, like, say, the 16th century, banking industries came about. And that's fascinating. Keep us enslaved. Back then we were already slaves. Feudal barons owned us. As soon as that's ended, this is how can we keep these peasants in servitude. We'll do it for money, we'll do it for this and that, monetary gain. And it ended up with banks through dodgy Kabbalists coming from Holland, Jewish Kabbalists. The word bank is Hebrew for bench. Is they would come in and would loan people money and say, okay, right, here you give me certain amounts back. And that's usury, and everybody in the world who really understands their books knows that usury is not a damn thing. So what happened was, a lot of people realised, hey, we could make corporations and laws stuff like this, what will go with this banking system, in fact we'll do that, and we'll call it commerce, commercial banking, commercial law, hand in hand, because we're made for each other. Look where that stems from. 16th century, Britain fought three wars with the Dutch, and the Dutch were beating them, and this was over shipping lines and shipping rights. And one of them, the second one was in 1665 to 1667. Every war only lasted 2 years, like, these wars with the Dutch only lasted 2 years. But one of them was in 1665 to 1667. And in 1666, London burnt. But that was also, the corporation stepped in then. They said that, hey, we'll just burn the city, and then we'll consider everybody dead. Right, and just like shipping terms, this is sort of the law of the sea, maritime law. They says because of shipping terms, we'll declare everybody dead, and then we'll declare all assets, because a dead man can't own assets. In fact, a living peasant can't own assets. So yeah, we'll usurp everything. We'll take claim. So they did. They took claim of the whole city and everything in the city. You know what I mean? But nobody really realises that legally they did it through their law, which was basically introduced from the Dutch, which went hand in hand with this banking system, which created 3 Jewish capitalists, really smart men, because he who's blessed with numbers is blessed above all men. Yeah. So these wars ended up ending in 1670. Yeah. With these 2 corporations, which was the British East India Company, trading, shipping lanes, and the Dutch East India Company, shipping lanes. All very Pirates of the Caribbean, all very Johnny Deppish, brother. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So, these 2 corporations merged, became one, became the British Dutch East India Company. Yeah, some dodgy shit happened, and Freemasons will tell you this. In fact, they'll know really, because this is one of their secrets. About the Stuart bloodline, they speak about the Stuarts being, Tipperary, and they speak about Tipperary being Charles II, being usurped, his throne being usurped. Yeah. And what happened was, this company, this new company emerged, agreements were made, and basically, they says, right, we want our man, the Dutch says, we want it to merge to make sure this corporation's beautiful. We want our, basically, our man to be the CEO, or the Chief Executive Officer of the corporation, in short words, to be the king of England. Yeah, so William I, or William the Orange, became king, and the Hanovers took over. And when you look into the Stuart bloodline and that, they were always kind of warring with these Hanover people. There was some strange shit in history. I don't know what to speak about right now, but I could dig it up any time about British kings saying, look, we don't want nothing to do with Hanovers and certain bloodlines because they're trying to usurp everything. Coming from the Austrian bloodlines. Look at the Austrian bloodlines, that's Caesar, that's Rome. Look at Weishaupt, very much Bavarian, influenced with the Illuminati. You look at the Bavarian, Saxe-Coburg, and the Habsburg family. These families, these bloodlines, these rulers, these kings of men have been important in Europe. Some kings vanished, but or became whatever, feudal barons. Yeah, but people knew this. This is why Freemasonry was started in Scotland a long time before it was even considered in England. You need to go back to the 15th century. Yeah, you're talking 14th century. 50, you're talking, wait a minute, let me get this right. 16th century. You're talking like 1545, maybe even later than earlier. During the reign of Mary Queen of Scots. Yeah, that's when Freemasonry was basically started. By a man called James Sanborn.
What I've learned also confuses people is Rosicrucianism and Freemasonry has influenced both good and bad people, and that's why both groups always tried to keep their things secret so they didn't get in the wrong hands. And Adam Weishaupt infiltrated Freemasonry when he was creating the Illuminati.
The Scottish rites. Sorry, Cameron, to interrupt. Just apart from the Scottish rites, mate. Yeah, go carry on with that, brother.
Yeah, and that's the same thing Crowley did, and it's also like things that Hitler did. He was influenced when he was a young kid by a movie that was made or based off of a book called Zanoni, written by a Rosicrucian, and it was all based on Rosicrucian concepts of creating a superior type of being, and he interpreted it as creating a certain type of superior,
Superman.
Yeah, a Superman or a super race or something like that. And when he was a kid, most of these people are influenced and pursue the things that they do so strongly because they get this idea when they're young. And so that seed was planted when Hitler was young, and he grew up off of that, and it just, as he corrupted his idea of what that plan was corrupted, and then he used it to he fooled people into believing that he was creating freedom. And most people that are evil slanted believe that they're good and they're doing the right thing. They don't see any difference. They think they're doing the right thing. And so people that don't really know what's going on will just listen, and if the person's a good speaker or good at teaching or whatever, because that's pretty much what most leaders are, is a type of speaker or a teacher of some kind, because obviously they have to manipulate thousands of people's minds into believing in whatever they're saying. So after that happened, even in Germany at that time, when Hitler had created certain laws, he actually made Freemasonry banned out of Germany, or any type of Rosicrucian or Freemasonic lodges were to be destroyed. They destroyed all the books because he didn't want the regular people to find out where they were getting their information, where they're getting their blueprints, all their ideas and stuff like that. So that's what I try to go into, to try to explain to people that divine knowledge, and that's what it is. That's what both Freemasonry and Rosicrucians teaches, is divine knowledge can be used for good or bad. And people forget that Satan or Lucifer or whatever name you want to label him is a fallen angel. That means he used to be divine, so he already has divine knowledge. So, and I think you quoted a verse out of the Bible earlier in a post. We don't fight against flesh and blood, but against principalities and powers of darkness.
Yeah, I've got tattooed on my arm in Gaelic, brother. Yeah, it's Ephesians. Yeah, Ephesians St. Paul, but St. Paul was a dubious character as well, to be honest. Like, St. Paul was a bit of a dubious dude. He said some kind of, judgment, all homosexuals are bad and that. It's like, look, mate, I ain't judging nobody down here. It's like Voltaire said at his deathbed. He asked him to renounce Satan and all his world, and he says, look, mate, it's a bit too late for me to try to be making enemies at this point. Do you know what I mean? I'm no gone with nobody's understandings, man. I'm lech lecha, as Abraham was told, lech lecha. Go for yourself when you try to understand me. Don't have nobody else define God to you, because that's an idiot and a sheep. Only, you might define him or whatever it is yourself. Don't call a him or a her, and no, I've had a fairy that I ain't soft or a fairy is a he, she, and it. Because really, that's what it is. Source, infinite source. You know what I mean?
That's exactly what Christ tried to teach people. Is his parables were, he was just speaking in the language of the basic common person. If you're a shepherd or a winemaker or a pot maker or whatever, he gave high wisdom in their own language. So, and what he was trying to teach them, and that's what he was doing, was teaching them how to find God in their everyday activities. If you're a shepherd, man, look at how the sheep are raised and how you help them, and when a sheep is like this and blah, blah, blah. And when you're molding a pot, that's exactly what God's doing when he's molding us. He molds us like clay. And, he was giving examples how they could find high holy knowledge within, whatever it was that they did on a daily basis.
The word clay is an interesting one. You look at the Hebrew etymology, clean. Clean means a vessel. So when you look at it, it's vessels, a spacesuit. People get hung up on the colour of your spacesuit, and you say, look, that's to do with melanin. Black people are black because they've been introduced to more melanin than me. So that then I stay in the cold. It's like when I was in Jamaica, this Jamaican lad was taking the piss. He says to me, yeah man, we got brown eyes, so we not need no shades, we not need no sunglasses. And I says to him, yeah mate, I've got blue eyes, pal, so I can see snow blizzards. He's like, you cheeky cunt. It's like, hey, well, fucking, I'm not interested in your colour of your skin. I'll judge the content of your character and who you are, mate. You know what I mean? Not interested in If you're gay or anything like that, it doesn't interest me. I'm no gay, you know what I mean? If you're gay and it floats your boat, hey, people talk about, oh, Sodom. The sins of Sodom, Cameron, back to money. The sins of Sodom, what God hated the most for was because they wouldn't feed the poor. Yeah, back to money, 10%, God's laws. This is usurp. This is what I get really involved with. This is the thing what I really, it was the law side, the commandment, the Brit, keep to the Brit, you know, and yeah, since we were speaking about earlier with these corporations, since, yeah, they've introduced a new law, they've usurped God's law, they've said, look, God's dead, mate. Yeah, Voltaire, so it was Voltaire, Victor Hugo, somebody, one of the, Jean-Jacques Rousseau, God's dead, you know what I mean? It was Nietzsche, yeah, Nietzsche, God's dead. It's like, alright, God's dead. That's how Hitler came up with the idea of Superman, you know? So, if God's dead, then we can usurp everything, and steal it, yeah, and say it's ours, do you know what I mean? But Adam Weishaupt kind of knew that, hey, people will catch on to this, mate, but see if you've got a corporation that owns it, something that's no for real, it's a golem, it's a fiction, it doesn't exist, no physical existence on this planet. God said only men and women can own stuff, or have property, or have what's just, right and proper. To you know what I mean, and me, Cameron, a home and stuff, that's just right and proper. Every man in this planet, no matter what colour you are, no matter what continent you're on, has got the right to this, man, because it's God's right. He says, this is my stuff. You know what I mean? This isn't your stuff. This oil isn't BP's. This is your oil. I gave it to you all, man. No, this corporation who's going to usurp it and steal it and sell it to you and make profit and keep you a slave to their system, which was created in 1695 with the Bank of England. The Bank of England rule the world. Their doors, Cameron, look at their doors suggest this. It's very Kabbalistic. The Sephir are split, 5 and 5, male and female. Good and bad is the tree of knowledge, and good and evil is exactly what it is, Cameron. It can be used for good and evil, brother. God's saying, look, man, I ain't judging yous. It's up to yous not to judge yourselves. So if you want to be a little bit crooked, as long as you're not affecting me, when you start to affect me, then I've got the right to judge you back, brother. Do you know what I mean? Once Lao Tzu said, what's a good man but a bad man's teacher? What is a bad man but a good man's job? But sometimes you need to roll your sleeves up and whoosh, yeah, because you'll meet wicked people in your path, man. You know, it's like I'm watching people stoning women and stuff today, and you're like, wow, man, an understanding of God and His laws, and you will stone another, yeah,
and another piece of I've studied many different cultures' beliefs, and I think I've found in every single religion around the world is all of them talk about a final judgment when you die. That you know your life is brought up, and I've almost died at least 5 times, and I've had some weird life experiences to where my life flashed before me, and I've studied other people's close death encounters and where their life flashes before you. And from my alchemical research, I've understood that everything that contains spirit, which is everything that's alive, whether it's plants, minerals, animals, people, whatever, everything that has eyes, and that's the spiritual eye of God, not to be confused with the material eye of the Illuminati that most people are scared of, but God's eyes are everywhere and always watching everything, and everything that you see right now is being recorded into your blood system. And when you die, the recordings and the memory of everything that we've seen or anything has seen around us is captured and recorded. And so when you go through judgment, every part of your life, whether you think you've been alone or in your own room or anything like that, if you have your own eyes open, you're still recording, just like a camera, you know what I'm saying? And so all these things are brought up, and some religions define it a little bit more, that you got to answer to these plants and animals to why you did this and that, because they were watching you. They recorded it. There was always something watching you. There's always something watching you.
When you get into this, Cameron, this is interesting. When you look at the tree's kind of interesting, especially at the top of the tree. This is how you get a lot of left-hand path magicians. Because when you look at the top of the tree for Tipperette, the chalk banner, you can see the 5-pointed star inverted. You know what I mean? You can see it inverted. And this gets deep. what you're saying there is like your eyes flashing, it's like your life flashing before you when you die, brother. Yeah, man, there's a bit in the Zohar about that. Like, yeah, it does say that's what it's like. But it talks about judgment. It talks about Samuel. Sam can't dead the Satan. Satan's judgment. Satan will judge you. That's when you look at the Talmudic entry to be yeah, look at the devil, man. When you look at him, how he's like I've said this in previous shows, he's called the accuser. Yeah, Satan, or yeah, the accuser, or diabolos, which means slanderer. So he's accusing and slandering you. So you need, there's one beautiful story, and I don't know why I speak about it, but there's a beautiful story in the Talmud, and it's about Moses, and it's about, death, because death comes for you, death's saying. Yeah, it's all got to do with the letters and the words, Gibon, stuff like that. People say, Gibonah, that would be hell, that would be silence. Silence. You know what I mean? And you think, it's interesting. Is there such a place? Dimensions. Is this working dimensional plane? It's lower down, which would be probably lower down the tree where the roots are. Maybe. Don't know. But yeah, it's a lot of people today, Cameron, we've got to speak about, especially with black magic, mate. Yeah, a lot of these grimoires. You look at the grimoires, the actual magic grimoires for summoning things. Do you know how many of these grimoires, like, they're written with Catholic priests, Jesuit priests? You know, that's, people talk about the Illuminati. Well, as a Weishaupt, for me, he was some funny Jesuit educated, high influence with the Jesuits. Same Adolf Hitler, high influence with the Jesuits, man. Very dangerous group, these people, man. For me, there's real Illuminati. They want to control the world because they're Rome. They really are still Rome. They've got Rome's interests at heart. Do you know what I mean? They've got Constantine's interests at heart. He created Christianity. Yeah, nobody can get away from that. Yeah. 325 AD, yeah, the Battle of the Milvian Bridge. You've seen a cross and a burning sun, and Jesus says, conquering my name. It's like, what? Yeah, man. Jesus says, yes, yeah, mate, you're fucking crazy. And what he done is, they created Christianity. He says, right, we'll take control of the faith, and we'll be the interpreters of the faith. Yeah. And look at what happens today. There's a lot of people want to interpret books to you. Yeah, instead of just going and interpreting them for yourself and speaking to other people so you can come to different understandings. Because, yeah, there's racy black magic being used in your courts and, yeah, in your banking system. That's the black form of magic. It's black magic that's using words and grammar you don't understand to enslave you. Yeah, then you've got, let's see, you've got your government. Your government's using PR, which is public relations, which is a modern term for propaganda. We're using propaganda against you. Do you know what I mean? To keep you enslaved, and because there you are, what I would call your servants. Your servants have become your masters. Yeah, and they like it that way. They make all the money and make all the decisions, and we just have to live with it, you know. And then you start to look at that, it's all very backed with finance, and you look like Frank L. Baum, who done the Wizard of Oz, is trying to tell us stuff with this. He's saying, yeah, look what happened in 1913 in America with Jekyll Island. Yeah, that's when your currency, which was once worth something, it was like British sterling was backed with sterling. Yeah, so our currency was once backed with sterling, do you know what I mean? Because it all started with a loan. The Bank of England started with a loan. And what happened was the governors, subscribers, listen to the words, grammar, the governors and subscribers were made governors and debt managers to the Bank of England, right? On process for the government, right? So what happened was, they loaned the British government 1,225,000 sterling silver coins, Cameron. Do you know what I mean? Which was a lot of money, brother. Yeah, on basically the behalf that they would be the subscribers, governors of the Bank of England, and show us we're the bosses, right? And we'll give you a loan to sweeten the deal. And the government says, all right, that's perfect, man. We'll take that. We can do some shit with that money. Yeah, but what happened was, Cameron, they create charters. This is right, we create these charters, and nobody in the world can open a bank unless they've got our charters. So yeah, this is how Scotland became part of the Union. It's because basically the Argent Project, what happened in 1725, the Union of the Crowns happened in the 1600s with James, 1500s with James the First, became King of England. Yeah. So the Queen of England, and now it isn't actually Queen of England, she's Queen of Scotland. So if Scotland ever had to leave the Union, well, the Queen would have to come with us, because she's actually not really Queen of England, she's just Queen of Scotland. Yeah, a lot of people don't know this because of the Stuart bloodline, the Union of the Crowns. So if the Union of the State broke up, the Union of the Crowns could maybe break up, and then, yeah, she's Scottish. Well, she's not actually, she's German. Yeah, some German people. Yeah, but Britain are kind of quaint like that, how English are. Yeah. So here's what happened in the 1694. Bank of England were created, right? As I say, these people would do this, this and this. But they had a monopoly. And they says that nobody will be able to open a bank or even trade, because it's all to do with stock market, stock exchange. Trade. They'll not be able to trade unless they've got our charters. They'll not be able to open a bank and trade, Cameron. They'll not be able to use our shipping lanes to bring their goods from A to B, you know what I mean? Because they're the shipping lanes, we own all this shit. Yeah, we own it, it's ours. Yeah, you have to pay us. And then they created this, but what happened was, yeah, that debt never got paid back. Never ever got paid back, Cameron. So what happened was, the bank says to the government, you've not paid back your debt. So, yeah, it's kind of really a lot of money now. It's been a couple of 100 years and you've not paid it back. So we're going to introduce a man who's going to run the whole economy and run the whole system for you, and he's called the Chancellor of the Exchequer, which you would probably know as a finance minister. So the finance minister was introduced to run the corporate government, because it's a corporation, the corporate government's finance on behalf of the bank. Right, so if you look to see who runs America, it would be Goldman Sachs. Their charters come from the Royal Bank of Scotland, whose charters come from the Bank of England. People talk about the Rothschilds taking over. No, man, they're just a family bloodline who've made a lot of wealth. Just like, yeah, golems sprite up, these fictional monsters come up, and they'll make lots of money. Like we were speaking about, Cameron, there's physical golems and metaphysical golems. Physical golems are a proper clay monster which rabbis created in the 16th century in the Prague. Yeah, and that's where you get the Cookie Monster. Remember the Cookie Monster? The Gingerbread Man, the Brothers Grimm. Yeah, the Brothers Grimm, the fairy tales, brother. Well, they were told you a Kabbalistic story of, in Prague, and they reckon there was a real monster, there's a statue and everything, and it's actually, they say that this golem's still there in Prague, it's just deactivated and covered in old horrors, and it's actually in the basement of this synagogue in Prague, famous synagogue. Yeah, this is two rabbis went into the woods, and three came out, and they actually made a golem, which is in Talmudic traditions in the Sanhedrin, in the Talmud, it's I'm not even going to say it, go ahead, pronounce it. It's a Sanhedrin, it's a chapter, we'll call it, in Talmud. Yeah, and it tells you how to make golems, how to make Frankenstein monsters. Yeah, when Mary Shelley and that were in Europe at the time when they were studying Kabbalah and stuff, they heard of golems, and she created a scientific paper, because it's all science, Kabbalah. Yeah, she created a scientific paper and created Frankenstein, who was the first, golem captured man's imagination.
Yeah, but Frankenstein was a scientist that studied alchemy. And since our last conversation, I was looking up some information on golems, and also it was compared in alchemy to what we call a homunculus, which is like a soulless life of a human or animal, some type of body type that has no soul or spirit in it, and it's used perfectly to control or to create or build, pretty much a slave, a soulless slave. Yeah. And that's one of what black magicians do is they make people slaves, and they do it by making them lose their souls pretty much, to where they have control over their abilities and their techniques and their skills. And a lot of artists, I pursued music years ago, and the further I got into the music industry, I realized that And I thought they were joking at the time, but most of them were like, man, I don't think you know what I've given up to have this placement and this wealth and all this stuff, and I don't even know where this talent's coming from, even though they were naturally talented before, but now they're twisted. They're not themselves anymore. They're empty, but they're still producing all this art and this work.
Jimmy Page.
Right.
Yeah, Jimmy Page for Led Zeppelin. Man was a phenomenal guitarist, yeah, but he got a bit dark and stuff. Yeah, Led Zeppelin, they got a bit dark. And I know exactly what you're saying, Cameron. It's like they've sold their soul to some jinn some killpot, summon some demon like E. Coetin we talk about. Yeah, they've summoned some killpotic demon using Fergie and it's just going to usurp your light. I'll maybe give you some knowledge. In fact, I'll not even it gives you knowledge. I'll maybe give these people confidence or something, Cameron. I mean, these things are working mentally, brother. Do you know what I mean? There's something crooked going on, especially in the music industry and that. Look at CIA involvement in hip-hop music. Yeah, portray a young image to the black young youth. Yeah, be a gangster. We ain't going to give you people jobs. It's like I was speaking to my good friend Isaac Brooks. You know what I'm saying? Isaac, like, man, I personally think America was created for wasps. Wasps, brother. White Anglo-Saxon Protestants, mate. You know what I mean? And I mean, you look at the rich elite in America, still very much white Anglo-Saxon Protestants. Do you know what I mean? And when you look at that, it's, hey, we ain't going to give you a job. We ain't going to give you this stuff. But hey, see if you go and sell your drugs and fucking hustle and be a gangbanger, we'll glorify it in that, eh? We'll maybe make the odd movies about you and that, like that guy 50 pence. Yeah, 50p, 50 cent, 50 pence, man. The guy's a cock. Do you know what I mean, man? Portraying an image to young, gullible, fragile minds, mate, who don't know about psychology. Yeah, psychology is, I would say, some of your blackest magicians like Bernays and stuff. They're working in PR, they're working for, corporations to sell you shit you don't need and you don't need it, but hey, and they're poisoning you, and you can't, but they pretend, we're just nice. But really, it's not. People say, it's a golem, it's the corporations themselves, it's not the people. You're going about a government. A government's just a system. It's just a system. How can a system do anything, Cameron, mate? It's the people who are in the system, mate. They implement this shit. It's not a system, it's got no physical existence. These things have got no physical existence. They're fucking metaphysical golems. They're no real. People believe, it's real. There's no real, man. It's just the corporation of fixing somebody's made up that you bang into and believe it's real, like fucking Batman and Superman. Do you know what I mean? And they're no real, man. You look at these golems, these movie golems, like, these make millions. They make somebody in Hollywood millions of pounds.
And see, that's through my use of ritual magic and learning how magic is used helped me understand and be able to see how they create or use a person and make a false idol or an image of a golem, pretty much. Like they may have some music star that they glorify as a young child, and so they're gonna buy the music artist's cereal brand, their perfume brand, their clothes. Then they got a picture of the star on posters in their room, and then they got pictures on their bedspread. They got this and that, and so throughout the day they're constantly idolizing someone that they're never gonna be because it's not them. And oh man, I wish I was so and so, or man, I love so and so so much, and so every time they're eating their cereal and they see the picture or the image of that person, it's imprinting that into their subconscious.
Cameron, you know yourself, brother. You spent a little time in jail. How many of these men in the jail are in jail in the system? The man, they think, man, the man's maybe got me, but in the greater scheme of things, I'm gonna fuck the man. No, man, the man's got a hold of you and he's making raking money because he's making what, maybe $500-600 a day from your ass.
Yeah, that's what people don't understand, and it had to take me to go to prison to learn all this stuff. But that's when I had done some research that the private prison industries here in America had bought out in the 1990s the hip hop and rap music producers.
The gang thing, Cameron, right? This is what I find fascinating, right? And you'll know this yourself, right? The gang culture in America, they use what I would call Masonic prefixes or Masonic phrases. They would say, like, so you would be able to differentiate what gang you were in. So somebody would maybe say, what's behind the sun? Why is the sky blue? Why is water red? Do you know what I'm saying, brother? They would ask you little things, and if you can't answer that, say you're a blood or a crypt, you know, when somebody says to you, why is water red? You'd be able to answer that Masonic, you know, and then you look at the gang signs, you know, and gang signs for me, when you look up, yes, Stan Tenen. Stan Tenen says, like, man, when you're square in the circle, the magic alphabet, the Hebrew alphabet, was created in a tent through gang signs, through the hand, you know, and that's how the letters came about, man. Stan Tenen lays it really out. And there's what you could say, yeah, the raising of hands, people seem to have hands, because you can raise hands on people and raise them up, or you can put them down, man. This is what's telling you, people, they want to raise certain people up, make them stars, luminaries, and keep other people down, man. Do you know what I mean? This is how you've got to, like, say, they push certain people, like, yeah, Britney Spears and fucking, no talentless assholes, like, yeah, the Ebola virus known as Miley Ray Cyrus, or the Ebola virus as I call her, brother, you know what I mean? Yeah, she is a wee Ebola virus, like, and you look at this and you say, yeah, but these people, I would say their nefesh is big, because they're more interested in the animal instincts and serving that cabinet. I want wealth, I want a fancy, I was listening to Stephen Ash, and he says, yeah, I want a fancy red car, I want a nicer girlfriend with bigger tits, do you know what I'm saying? Like, or a nicer boyfriend with money, do you know what I'm saying? He's gonna buy me clothes. And it's like, yeah, man, that can be used, people can use this stuff for that. But for me, that just says you're crooked. There's a lot of crooked people.
That's how the media is controlling people into wanting these things. Most people don't even naturally want these things, but because they constantly see it on a daily basis, whether it's in the music that they're listening to on their way to work, or the commercials that they're watching, or the poster boards while they're driving, or, you know, the movie they watch when they get home. You know, everything is feeding them, get money, get money, get money, get this, you want this, you want. And so these people become attached to all these material things, and then they wonder why they get depressed, and they have anxieties, and then they get hooked on these pills that they push on them when they can't get all these things that, you know, they want. You know, if you didn't want any of these things, you wouldn't have any psychological problems in the first place. You know, it's your attachment to material things.
You've studied young, brother. You've studied young, man. You know yourself, brother. You've studied Carl Young. Our minds work in 3 levels, man, and they want to keep you in your lowest level. If you want to, you know, your subconscious, preconscious, whatever you want to call it. Do you know what I mean? They like to work on that, right? But they want to keep you in your lower based, you know, the nefesh, keep you, you know, and they use a lot of sex. How much sex is involved in marketing and PR and movies and music and our whole lifestyles, brother. They're working on that, using basically psychology, mind fucking us with psychology, working on our lowest level, brother, our lowest level, our animal instincts to keep us, you know, if you don't buy this kind of spot cream and that, you're not going to get any pussy. Do you know what I mean, brother? That's true, man. Sorry for curse words, man, but hey, I speak frank, Cameron. You know yourself, brother. But hey, you look at these people are dark, this is dark what's going on, and they all use big grammar, use big words. People don't understand the etymology of words when you start to look into that brings up a whole different game, because that's what Kabbalah is. It's looking at words and gematria and, yeah, try to find proof for the matter. But when you start to look at the origins and the etymologies and how this word came about and that, look at government. Governe, it doesn't mean governe, it means to govern, and it means mind. Yeah, we want to govern your fucking minds and make you slaves. Do you know what I mean? And then, as I was saying, look what happened. Yeah, all you all forms of government stem from the UK, man. Our parliament is the mother of democracy. It's democracy. And then you look at our court systems, Cameron, and you go into a court system and the judge is dressed like some Saturnian devil worshipper in black robes. The dock and the whole layout, the court's laid out like a ship. Yeah, like a cross between a ship and a synagogue, which I find very interesting. Yeah, it's a lot like a ship and a synagogue, laid out like that, and you come in and this man's basically, yeah, as I spoke about in the previous week, yeah, he comes in that this very Masonic kind of get up, coming from Albert Mackey. Yeah, Albert Mackey wrote a thing called Masonic parliamentary law, where our parliamentary law did stem from. But you know yourself, you've got people like Weishaupt and that try to infiltrate lodges so they can corrupt absolutely, so they can usurp. Yeah, God's dead. No laws. God's laws are they're null and void. So we'll create our laws and you'll abide by our laws. Nimrod's laws. Yeah, look at your Nimrods today, your military-industrial complex. Yeah, so the Bible says, watch for Nimrods, men who will make weapons of war and sell you them, and put a spin in it. Yeah, that man over there hates you. Look at, I tried to create a dialect today about Islam, as I was saying, and I went down like a farmer bath. But hey, if I can speak about Jesus Christ as maybe being a false prophet or a charlatan, and look at it, and do you know what I mean? But look at it, I'm entertaining, I'm not accepting anything, but if I can look at these things and not be what you would call, I'm raised a Christian and believe that this Jesus was who he was, mate. He was the rampant, he was the heavenly host himself, coming down, he shows how to walk a straight path. Do you know what I mean? And if I can look at the people who say nasty things about the prophets and not be bothered, then why would a Muslim be bothered? You know what I mean? This is holding the prophet up above God. That's an idol worship again, Cameron. And that's Belial. When you study black magic, you realise that Belial, the demon Belial, he's one of the 7 archangels, just like Asmodeus. He says, see if you create an idol, no matter what an idol it is, that's me. I will take the form of that idol and I will usurp its power. And if you're praying to that idol, you're praying to me. Because I'm usurper, I'm the king of usurpers. I'm Belial. I'm the king of the demons. I'm one of the 7 kings, infernal kings of hell. You know what I mean? I rule over power. Absolute corrupt power. Do you know, just like Asmodeus rules over the sexual orgies. Do you know what I mean? So they're using these demons to mindfuck us. People go, but what's a demon? It's an energy. It's
that's energy. What's destroyed civilizations in the past. Usually when a civilization was created, they had good ideals and stuff to start it off with, and once it got built up, the greed for power just kept raising, and so you had these weird orgies happening all over cities, and then people stealing and robbing, and just crime, the whole city and civilization would become corrupt, and then within a couple hundred years or 1,000 years or however long that civilization would last, it would end shortly after that. And that's exactly what's happening here in America and around the world, is people are becoming more freer sexually, wanting to have, crazy orgies with men, women, kids, weird shit. And then, people are just lusting over money. But people need to remember that anything that manifests on this material plane is liable to corruption, whether it's a church, a mosque, anything, religion, period. The Bible itself is a material book, and so it's a double-edged sword that can be used to help heal people or bring people up, or you can use it to enslave and mind trap people. It's
war coming. I can use this book to show you the lies of God. I can show you this book to show you the laws of God. I can show you this book to show you the mysteries of God, and I can also show you this book to show you the metaphysical, the science of God, right? There's your 4 ways to look at it, the sword, the mystery. But I can also use this book to make war on man. I can use this book to make men kill men. You know what I mean? I can use this book and say, this other man, hey, this other man doesn't agree with your understandings, brother. And you go, what? And it's not even your understandings, it's somebody else's. It's the man who wrote the book's understandings. But yet you kill for the man who wrote the book's understandings, instead of just come to your own conclusion and finding God yourself, mate. Really, that's what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to find God. Look at the face of God like the holy child and see my own face, brother. Like the child says, if you ever get to see the child, there's the bull, there's the eagle, there's the lion, and there's the man. They say if you see the face of man, you'll see your own face, whether you be male or female. Do you know what I mean? That's the mystery, the sword. And that's what I'm interested in. I'm wanting to know the mysteries of God. I don't want to come back down here. This is a Roboros. This is a recyclement down here. If you don't get it, then you get stuck back down here in another, what I would call another star sign, or another zodiacal sign, and you'll have to live another life and try and do this shit all over again. And try and, it's like, it's a playpen. God says, here's a playpen, and when he's a big, I'll let he's out. Until he's a big, he can fucking stay there. Do you know what I mean? And that's what he's basically done, man. And we need to evolve, Cameron. And this is what man needs to realise. These books, man, they're telling you science and maths. We should have physicists studying what I would call Kabbalah, because that's the mystery. These books, there's actually science and all sorts, and these religious books, and people think, oh, it's just a religious book, and you say, no, man, it's really something kind of special, man. God's trying to tell us physics, everything. He's trying to tell us everything in stories, parables and stuff like that, so we can try and maybe fathom and understand. And then, or even take through these parables and stories and, say, oh, I actually get what that's talking about, do you know what I mean? 10 utterances in the beginning God created. Yeah, every time God speaks in the Bible, in the beginning, it's in the beginning that was classed as an utterance. In the beginning God created. Right? So when you look at that, He created, there's 10 utterances. Well, 9. And that's like, and God said, let there be. God said, let there be. God said, let there be firmaments. God said, let there be luminaries. God said, let there be. And then when you read that, he's referring to the Sephiroth, the tree of life. But it can be used for good and bad, like you say, Cameron. But these people down here who are running their shit are using it and try to keep us on a low mind base, using sex and shit like that. Keep us in our nephesh instinct instead of letting us rise up, through the 4 worlds, so we can find our neshama. Do you know what I mean? A higher consciousness, brother, man. Our highest consciousness. Do you know what I mean? But yeah.
And see what it is I don't know. Maybe it's because of since I was 7 years old, I've been performing performance magic, and one of the key tricks in performing a trick is misdirection. And so when I'm doing a fancy cut with a deck of cards, or I'm making a card spin in this hand, the other hand, which people aren't paying attention to, is getting rid of the evidence. It's doing this and that and the other thing. And so what you said propaganda is used for is, okay, we're killing these people over here and causing war over here, but we don't want people to pay attention to that, so let's make them fight over a flag or over race politics, or this white guy said this to this black guy, and let's worry about these small problems while we're doing this in the background. It's all misdirection is really what it is.
It's that they're using, right, and this is what we need to start realising. They're using a thing called the Hegelian dialectic, right? The divide and rule. Do you know what I mean? Problem, reaction, solution. We've got a problem. Here, we'll create this reaction, and then this is the solution we'll get. I studied Friedrich Hegel, and I realised the man was a genius. And what he's actually telling us is we should teach every single person on this planet, because if you learned how to study and look at these things using Hegelian dialectics, then you'll come to your own understandings, Cameron. Do you know what I mean? But because we are kind of stupid, they're not stupid, they don't educate us right, brother. They want us to be stupid, they want to be workers, they want us to be, they want to be the feudal barons once again. Back to the barons, brother. These people, these families and rich bloodlines who said, we own all this land, why should we sell some of this land to some fucking peasant just because he's got some paper fictional cash? In fact, we need this peasant so he'll work our businesses. So we'll sell him a wee bit of land and maybe give him a nice house and let him be deluded that he's maybe middle class. But really, he's working class, man. Everybody's working class. There's only those at the top and those who work. So people believe, oh, I'm middle class. I earn, And it's like, no, mate, you get up every morning at such and such a time, go to work and come home at such and such a time. Well, yes. You say, well, you're a working man, brother. You're no middle class. That's a delusion, man. That's been introduced to the sociologists who've said, yeah, that's mindfuck people, and we'll tell them, yeah, social stratification. Yes, you can rise through the social layers of the pyramid. Usually you're basically just a peasant, but if you go to school and you learn and you educate, or maybe even come up with a great idea, then you will make money and you will rise through this social pyramid, this social pyramid. And you look at our laws, yeah, the law society. Laws are created by the law society. We've got a society, and then you've got the medical society. Right. Our society's got a language. It's called English. And we have a dictionary, Cameron, called, yeah, well, the Oxford or whatever dictionary you're going with, that's the dictionary, right? That's for our society. Now you have a legal society called the Law Society, and they have their own dictionaries. One's called the Black's Law Dictionary, brother, which is, yeah, Samuel the Black one. It's his law, yeah, the devil, Samuel, says, I'll create a law and usurp everything. So then you've got their dictionary. So when you look at a word, let's look at some words. Let's look at mortgage. Yeah, a legal word. Let's look at mortgage. We would say, yeah, to hold a mortgage would be, yeah, own my property and I pay it up, you know, through work, and after so many years, after I pay my mortgage off, that house belongs to me and I'll get my deeds back for the bank. No, the bank just gives you some deeds, but when you die in that, you know, unless you pay your inheritance tax or your kid pays your inheritance tax for the house, they'll just come and take it off them because it's their house, their property. They say, well, he's dead. He doesn't own shit no more. He's memento mori. He's 6 mil under, brother. Yeah, so he doesn't need that shit. So we'll just steal it again. You know? And that's how it comes back, doesn't it, man? They create crazy words like mortgage, which really means, when you study the etymology, the origin of the word, it's French. It means death grip. Yeah, mort. French means death. Engage in French means grip. Let's look at the word parliament. Parliament means, yeah, med means, yeah, mind. And parler, yeah. Parliament, man, that means basically, to talk lies, because meant in French can be also mean false or lies, meant in French. So parlement, parler means to speak.
It's also what French, they call a flock of owls, or a parliament, a group of owls.
Yeah, that's, when you look at that, brother, that's kind of, that's very Lilith-like, isn't it, man? Those all-seeing owls, yeah. I quite like owls, but I think once again that image and that symbology has been usurped by people who said, look, yeah. And then when you look at the doors of the Bank of England, brother, very Kabbalistic. The Saphira are split, and then you've got, like, say, a ship, which is saying, yeah, they actually say it means we rule over the ethereal waves. Ethereal waves, Cameron, it's a very interesting term. We rule over the ethereal waves, and we rule by the power of Zeus and the electromagnetic elements that come from that. Very, very, very alchemy there, right? And it's up at the top. It's got the node. It's got the north. Yeah, what we call Ursa Minor. That's towards the Polaris region, which is very fascinating. And then you've got the Southern Cross. So on the doors, they're saying we rule from the South Pole to the North Pole. And this ship on their doors is saying, yeah, we rule through maritime law. And it also has a caduceus, two caduceus in both doors, hermetic caduceus. Once again, these people have corrupted this hermetic caduceus, brother. You know what I mean, mate? This isn't what we would know as the Staff of Moses or the caduceus of Hermes Trismegistus. No, this is a black. Look at the doors are black. This is a black caduceus, brother. You know, these people are, yeah, this isn't, our banking systems aren't nice, mate. They aren't nice.
I think that was another interesting topic that I think you brought up in another group about, the astral light. And
yeah,
the caduceus of Hermes, or Cadius, or however you want to pronounce it, shows a black serpent going around it and then a white serpent around it. And what people don't understand is one of those currents are going to take over the full body of whoever's raising that energy or that light. and you have what's called the false light and the true light. You know, one is corrupted and the other one isn't, and so it's all depending on how you activate that spiritual light within yourself to illuminate yourself. And you can do it with darkness or light. You know, that's the thing that people don't really realize, that bad people become illuminated and good people can become illuminated. So it's all on the intent and the process.
And it's also saying too, when you look at that camera with the yin and the yang, brother, it's saying, bad people can become good and good people can become bad as well. Look at this dry and everything. Yeah, you're so spot on. It's like with Elohim. Elohim is a very interesting one because it's saying split. Yeah, split. When you study Kabbalah Amsterdam, like the Elohim split. Free are good, free are bad, and you're the one in the middle. You're the Elohim. As Maimonides speaks about, God gave us rulers, judges, this and that, but also because we are the Elohim. I'll have to get the term about Maimonides, because it's actually referenced in the Bible. Do you know what we say? I think it's in Daniel or something. It says we are the Elohim. Do you know what I mean? We're a representation of the Elohim. We are gods. Do you know what I mean? But we're split. We're split between our good inclinations and our evil inclinations. And you could say, free or good, free or bad. You know what I mean? And we're split between this, and it's the Muslims would call it a jihad. Yeah, the jihad's an internal struggle, brother. Fighting that animal instinct, man. Do you know what I mean? Fighting that nefesh, brother. Fighting that nefesh. Do you know what I mean? I'm not fighting. Just try. Fight in fact. Just try. You're not an animal. We're no animals. Yeah, we're no animals, but we act like fucking animals. Like, look at our governments act like animals, and we get roped into it. Do you know what I mean, brother? But yeah, it's the whole struggle. It's a jihad, fighting these serpents. Yeah, these serpents within. Yeah. And a lot of people don't go with that. Look at these people in the music industry. He calls himself the Rockefeller in music. That Jay-Z. Yeah, that guy's just nefesh crooked, mate. Sex parties and shit. But here's the thing, man. He's probably got a couple of the really good magicians who really know what they're doing. I haven't even seen good magicians, black magicians who really know what they're doing. Who are doing some really crooked shit in the process, because you know yourself, Cameron. Yeah, when you look at chaos magic, Grant Morrison and stuff like that. Yeah, when they talk about sigils, how to create a sigil, he was created through masturbation. The act of sex, it opens doors with you, and the point of ejaculation, do you know what I mean? Or orgasm, females as well. That you would hold that image in your mind's eye and you'd create it just like we were creating children. You could create these things, and it's a similar thing. I'll physically make this happen like I would create a child if I was with a woman, do you know what I mean? In the act. Except I can do this magically and create other things. I could create myself wealth, I could create myself a red car, or I could try, do you know what I mean, through magic. And some people it does work if they really know what they're doing. But Jesus says, don't partake in black magic, mate. First I can't go for it, brother. I speak too much.
No, I always enjoy hearing everything you guys say. But no, I was just laughing because you were talking about people using sex in the wrong way to generate or create images and whatnot, and people forget that the phallus used to be worshipped for a long time, and the actual magician's wand was the phallus. And in anatomy, your pituitary gland within your brain is directly connected to your sexual glands in your body through your central nervous system. So when you have an orgasm down below, you have a mental orgasm. There's a change in consciousness. There's a change in brain structure. It molds and creates different forms after you, depending on what you're using that energy for. And black magicians are, I guess you could consider them vampires in a way, in a sexual way. They drain people's energy. They make people addicted to the sex act, and that they need sex from that person, or
very Gnostic-y.
And that's what Crowley used sex for. I mean, all of his women were used to conjure up these spirits that he gained all of his information from. But people rarely look at his biographies and understand that all of his wives either went crazy, tried to commit suicide, or became drug addicts or drunks. All of his kids died at an early age. All of them were put on drugs and were made sex slaves. And he would use his wand to conjure up or invoke spirits within the woman's body to take control over the body. And the person or whatever entity that Crowley would talk to, he was talking to it through the woman he was with after they had sex, or a man, because Crowley was, like going both ways. But
there's a name for that, brother. I can't mind the name for that. But I know the OTO, what they would do is they would. Yeah, I've studied all this shit, right? With the OTO, what they would do is, man, they would get, like, say, they use, this is what I don't like. Yeah, I don't like them using Hashem, mate. I don't like people using God's name in fucking vain. Even he doesn't, man, for, like, stuff like that. If you're doing stuff, personally, better yourself, make yourself a better person and that. But if you're doing shit to call up demons and that, the way he was doing it, and black man using his wand, yeah, there's real Kabbalistic significance to do with circumcision, brother. The reason why people are circumcised, do you know what I mean? Once upon a time, the Jews thought God was Baal. Yeah, they did. They thought, the Yahweh thought, he's kind of Baalish, so we'll burn babies to him. And then they realised that's a falsity, you shouldn't be doing that. So as a burnt offering, because it's a burnt offering, they circumcised their children. In the process, they believed it would the penis would be revealed properly, and it would be the crown, the kepher, the corone, and all of this when it was cut a certain way, right? And they believed it's very Kabbalistically. It's a Kabbalistic thing, and in the process you would have divine, godly kids. Do you know what I mean? And it's a magical act, and why the actual penis was circumcised. And all it was to do with a burnt offering. Yeah, Azazel, the burnt offering, the goat. Yeah, and that's a demon. Demonology once again, and yeah, it's everywhere, brother, with some people, and it sickens you in the bone. And Crowley, a lot of people, Crowley was a dick. He was just a dick, mate. I've read these Libri 777, and people say, he's telling you the mystery of the 7 places. Bullshit. He ain't telling you the mystery of 7 places. He's fucking respouting Rashbi. Yeah, the Rabbi Shimon. Yeah, Bar Yochai, man. Rashbi. I love the man. The guy's class. And yeah, Crowley's just regurgitating, like I do sometimes. I just hear this man says this man says this. Why do you want to hear my understandings when I'm writing stuff? I'm just going to let you read these scholars, and then you can come at your own fucking understandings, man. Do you know what I mean? Go for yourself, man. Do you know what I mean?
What most people don't know is when he created Library 777, he pretty much used all of his knowledge that he gained from the Golden Dawn at that time and just reprinted it. And then he added his own Thelmic twist to it, the book, to make it his own.
I'll steal a bit of Manners, and I'll steal a little bit of Yi Wait, and I'll create my own fucking Nefesh Ben Kabbalah, and I'll be able to, I'll introduce everybody into the 9th degree of the OTO, and the 9th degree was created with, I'll have to get his name, but the man was basically, he taught sex magic. Yeah, so the 9th degree, the OTO, everybody gets introduced into the 9th OTO and they get their brains fucked out. Like Miley Cyrus, who's a member of the OTO, Justin Bieber, who's a member of the OTO, like, what's his name, sitting like that, U2, Bono, yeah, he's a member of the OTO. Look at Bob Geldof's daughter who died, she was a member of the OTO. She got killed because she went to court and there was a band called the Lost Prophets, and he was a paedophile abusing children, and she found out actually because she was a member of the same OTO lodge and went to she was actually a witness in court against them, and she broke OTO rules because it's a Masonic order, and she went and basically said this man's a fucking pervert, and then she dies a couple of months later of a heroin overdose. Yeah. Look at heroin when it comes to Aleister Crowley. He says, take heroin because you'll become, basically, you'll find your lowest point. Yeah, you'll do anything for the heroin. You would suck an old man's cock if it need be, by the way, to get the money for Smack Brother. Do you know? And he knew this. And she dies of a heroin overdose on a certain day, what happens to be a massive, massive day for OTO ceremonies, especially they were worshipping certain things. You know what I mean? And you say, wait a minute, man, you think I'm fucking stupid? I've studied this stuff. I know black magic, I know white magic, do you know what I mean? And you can't keep to a centre path down and yourself unless you've studied both. You can't, mate. As Abraham says, he went to Egypt. Let's look at the teachings in Egypt. Slavery, it came from Egypt. Let's take it deeper, Kabbalistically. Desolation, Pharaoh, Geburah, the sea Egypt's Geburah, which is severity, which isn't a nice judgment, din. Do you know? And Abraham went to Egypt on purpose because he had to learn. He took Sarah, his wife, and it's a strange story in the Zohar about Abraham having to tell Pharaoh, well, having to tell people that Sarah was his sister, because if they found out that Sarah was his wife, they would have killed Abraham because she was that beautiful and they would have raped her. But because it was her brother, they didn't. Do you know what I mean? And she ended up with Pharaoh, and she says to Pharaoh, "Look, I'm married to Abraham," and then Pharaoh actually kicked Abraham out of Egypt, told him to leave in Egypt, and then I think that's when Abraham went to the Moabite lands or something like that. It's tough to look it up, do you know what I mean? But yeah, when you look at that, Cameron, he went down to Egypt. And sure, he went down and studied lesser teachings or the Kilpothic teachings or demon teachings, so he'd be able to understand. Do you know what I mean? I'm not equating everything in Egypt as being evil, because that's just stupid when you've got people like Hermes Trismegistus walking about, who really was a great man. Do you know what I mean? He was a great man. He just didn't read some of the Hermetic stuff, Arcanum and that. The man was a genius. Do you know what I mean? But yeah, guy was class. But yeah, you know, it still had its opposite. But the opposite that was coming in Egypt, it was really, it was Balil, if those who've read the Galatia or the Ars Paulina. I'm not telling you other books you would need to go practice in Virgil, especially demonology, mate, but hey, you need more than just those two books. You know what I mean?
And people I've noticed lately are practicing things with those books, and they've never even studied anything in their past or anything, and so they're just like I think that E.A. Coeting guy, one of his first lessons, and I talked to somebody that had taken one of his lessons, it automatically teaches you how to make a sigil and how to open yourself for any spirits to come in. Like, why would you just open yourself to anything? You know what I'm saying? You got to be more specific. If you're allowing anything to come in and give you information, that's like just picking someone out of the random in a crowd of people and being like, give me all the knowledge you got. Tell me about God. I'm going to believe whatever you say.
The best it is to Cameron, right? When you start to you read Faustus, man. I mean, by Wolfgang von Goethe, Faustus, when he summons up the demon, man, the demon looks on Faustus like an asshole, and Faustus is a learned man. Faustus is like a scholar, and he's a very educated man, and this demon just thinks he's a dick. He's like, but it has to do stuff, and he gets pissed off. It's like, you're just an idiot, Faustus, and I'm a superior, I'm a celestial being, you're just an asshole, and I'm having to run about and do stupid shit for you. Do you know what I mean? And that's really, so it's like, with stuff like that, I wouldn't even go conjuring the angels, mate, because, we're lording these things. We weren't always, we were greater, but now we're lording these things, so why are you going to conjure up a demon or an angel when both of them look at you like a talking monkey, basically? Your understanding to us, your understanding to me is, you're a mere child, mate. Do you know what I mean? And that's the thing, Cameron. These things, the people, their understanding is far, far superior to us. And this is why people are attracted to believe in these things speak in riddles. If you conjure this shit up, they'll speak to you in riddles, mate. Do you know, you have to be learned and wise to be able to understand. Like Quain saying, it told me about Algol. I say, right. Well, I've heard of Algol before when I was studying Greek mythology. It came up with the star charts would come up with that, Cameron. Do you know what I mean? With the star charts would come up with the zodiac to do with Greek mythology, and Algol sits in the left eye of Medusa, the serpent queen. And he says, when Algol's seen in the sky, there's beheadings and all this shit. And he did say some interesting things. The people of Algol are, they're male, they're female species and that. You see, right, it's bombastic. It's bombastic. I want proof of the matter, brother. I want proof of the matter. You've just told me a bombastic story. I can't prove it and I can't disprove it. Do you know what I mean? And then he starts to tell you a little bit about this and that. And you see, well, it's basic zodiac charts if you've went and studied it. But if somebody's not studied it, then him saying, there's a planet called Algol and I can get demons and stuff for there, and they're telling me this, and this. People will go, I've never heard of that alcohol, I've never heard of this, and Medusa and all this. And they're impressed with the knowledge, brother, and think, oh, this must be real. When it's, nah, man, it's just bullshit. Cohen's a charlatan, out to make money. But for me, he is using some Kilpoffic teachings, and he is getting, some shit for some things, mate. And he's going to get punished for that. He's off to the world of Shawl, Gebanon. He's off to silence because he's give up his light. He's gave up his light to something else, Cameron. Do you know what I mean? For knowledge. He's gave up his light for knowledge. When you can gain this knowledge yourself, if you put the time in. Chokma. If you put Chokma in, yeah.
And see, that's the difference between black ritual magic and I guess good ritual magic is, you're either way you're giving up some type of sacrifice. Within black magic, Crawley sacrificed everybody in his life, whether it was his family, his kids, his wife, his friends, to gain knowledge. And the thing is you can gain knowledge from the lesser or the higher. And another thing, that when people conjure up a angelic entity, if they're calling a lesser angel, is pretty much what it is, and that's what people still seem to forget, is that demons are not some imp-headed looking thing with horns. They look like angels, and so people will be like, oh wow, look at this beautiful thing, and they're going to create whatever false images that pleases and calms your mind for you to be able to accept whatever it is that angelic presence has to give you. And so people will listen to an angel thinking that it's good, but really they're just seeping them, tricks and lies and stuff like that. So that's where it goes into, if you're going to practice ritual magic like that, you need to learn how to...
yourself, Cameron, this is what I find interesting, especially now in America, right? It's imagination. Yourself, you've just hit the nail on the barn. How it really is, it's a beanie light, but it's not a beanie light. But it is a beanie light, but it's not a beanie light. Do you know what I mean? But you go, oh, look at that angel, or look at that demon. That's our understandings, brother. But some people have not been raised in a religious way. So they'll look at these things and they'll go, look at that alien. Look at that wee grey alien with its black eyes. Do you know what I mean? We soulless entity, and these aliens are coming from here, and here. You see, actually, when you look at the UFO phenomenon, they seem to be coming from here. These little grey aliens, they're more likely to be coming from here, man, maybe the bills of the earth, like little demons to me, but yeah, there's a lot froze up by this stuff when it comes to people's imaginations, because, the old Goetia term, you've got these demons with heads and they've got feet like this. Well, they're taking the old ways for the Sumerians. Well, yeah, maybe the Sumerians, during the Temple of Solomon, they couldn't build like a lion. You could go, we'll do a statue of a lion, because that's an idol, man. They couldn't do it, so they would make these funny creatures. They said they weren't the idols, they're just, it's no real, it's like a mythical creature. Do you know what I mean? They'll give it a body like the Sphinx. There's a man with a body of a lion, and that's the mythical creature. But through magic and stuff, man, if we actually created these things in other realms and other real, and you can tap into that energy and use that energy, do you know what I mean? Something like that's very interesting, but I keep away from the magic, but if you're using magic to better yourself, make yourself a better person, and do good things, man. Do you know what I mean? And that's different. That's altruistic. That's being good, brother. Do you know what I mean? But when you're doing stuff to to gain and all that, like Quentin and some of these people, like you're saying with Crowley, use people. You can't use people. That makes you lonely in life, man. Life's hard enough, man. Using people, you might gather friends, mate. So that's what makes your life rich. It's not wealth and fancy houses. It's friends and family and loved ones and people you love. Do you know what I mean? People who love you, brother. Do you know what I mean? That's the greatest of all. People talk about love, but some of these black magicians, I feel sorry for them because some of them are probably lacking love. Do you know what I mean, Cameron? And it's, they went for the Aramanic. People talk about the two pillars. You could say the Luciferian. Well, there's different interpretations. Some say the Luciferian side's your good side or the spiritual side, but if you get too much into the spiritual side, then you'll forget you're living life on earth, and then you'll neglect yourself, and then Where there's the other side, you've got your Aramanic side, which is some crazy demon devil thing, and it's materialistic in itself. And if you go that way, then you forget that there's a spiritual self to you, there's a spiritual element in here. Do you know what I mean? There's a mystery.
It's just like the other day we were talking about sigils on money, in sigil magic, people don't realize that you don't need some fancy talisman to create a sigil to perform ritual magic. All you need is really a piece of paper and a pen to create the sigil. And then what that does is your subconscious mind is trained through symbology or habitual actions. And so on all of our money, there's a bunch of sigils on there that most people don't even understand. And so that's the symbol imprinting seeds in the person's subconscious, and then the habitual action of constantly hearing about money in their music, money on TV, money on movies, money in books. So it's just a constant habitual. They're hitting them from all angles, and because people don't know what's going on, it's controlling them, and they have this lust for money, but they don't know why. They don't know why.
Yeah, man. They're feeding it. It's like a golem, Cameron. It's like a fictional golem, and they're feeding it their energy. They're giving it their energy because they're, I need to get money, I need to get this. If I've not got this, I can't do that. If I've not got money, I can't live. Yeah, man, I've became with fucking these crazy fuck it, man. I'm no skinty, I'm no poor, I'm no loaded, I've not got rates in money, man. Do you know what I mean? I read a lot and that, and yeah, I do my fucking wee bit to get a wee bit of money, but as I says, meek. I live meek, mate. Do you know what I mean? I don't live beyond my means. Do you know what I mean? I do a wee bit of hustling. No, nothing bad. Do you know what I mean? Everybody has to hustle in life. I'm going into that, but yeah. You know what I mean, Cameron? You know what I'm talking about, brother. You know what I mean? But yeah, I don't do my thing, man. But I'm not a fucking crooked person. There's too many crooked people out here. You just want to use people, man. But yeah, I don't like that. That's usury for me. This is what comes back, doesn't it? As I'm saying with laws and that. Usury, man. Usury. You watch you for these people who are users and usurpers. Do you know what I mean? And that's how I came to this disillusioned with life. From a young age, mate. You know, I was a rebel as a kid, like I'm quite a violent youth. Do you know what I mean? And then I got to like my 20s and I realised all my friends were all fucking fake. Apart from like a couple of them who were who I still speak to this day. They're my best friends. Do you know what I mean? My brother Zeb's, who's my brother. Here's my brother, man. Brother from another mother. But the rest of them, I realised this is all fucking fake, man. These people are fake. They're only out for what they can get. They're no genuinely honest people. And I thought, fuck it, I'm just going to keep myself, do my own thing, man, and read and study, man. And that's what I've done, Cameron, since 2002. Just study everything and everything, do you know what I mean? Bored, and then, you know, I would read something and then something else would come up because he's reading that, and then something else comes up because he's reading that, and something else comes up because he's reading that, and you go on a little adventure, and then you start to, like, gain knowledge and understanding on certain subjects and stuff. It's fascinating, do you know, and that's for me what life is really about, man. Proof of the matter. We really, get proof of the matter of God and understand God and understand us, because we are God, but we're a little piece of the Ein Sof, a little spark, a little bit of beauty. But we don't see that. We want to run about judging each other. Yeah, I don't like him, because just like everyone, Cameron, you know yourself, there's a saying, what's it? Yeah, God's just like us. We bring God down to our understanding, right? So God hates the same people we hate. He hates the same music we hate. He likes the same food we like. Yeah, God likes everything we like, and he hates everything we like. But this guy over here, man, he's got a God too. He's the same God, and his God says he should hate everything you like and like everything you hate. No, I mean, mate. And people go, I don't like that guy. He dislikes my idea on God, so I'm going to fucking fight him. You know what I mean? You think, wow, man. And then you've got those people who are sitting in the sidelines saying, how can we make money with these people's stupidity? Because that's what it comes down to, and it's people so Illuminati. Yes, they say these people are stupid, so we'll manipulate them and use them for our own means. And that's what's happening in the world.
We'll start a fight, and then we'll sell them the weapons to make the fight happen, and then when they die, we'll also make money off of all their families and friends and stuff like that by selling them drugs and selling them this to help them cope with the fight that just was created. And I mean, it's all a system of manipulation and control that hit people from so many different angles that they don't know where it's coming from. And I mean, one thing about, if you're going to get into any of these subjects, it's best to study everything about it. And if you're, even a Christian, I've had too many problems with going into a church and asking them about this or that, about, evil, and they don't have any idea. And it's like when you're in a boxing match, if you're going to fight somebody, or if you're going to defend yourself from something, wouldn't it be smart for you to understand your opponent's moves, how they punch, how they kick, how they move and bob and weave and everything like that? You've got to study everything about that person and what you're up against, and what most Christian culture nowadays, they've become so lost in materialistic wants and needs. Money's the root of all evil, but I'm going to need you to put some money in my little pan or something like that, and they'll do it 3 times during a service now. That all they want is money, but they're not teaching anybody any knowledge that's going to help them from defending themselves.
Seed ministries. Yeah, in America they call them seed ministries. I've looked into it. I mean, it was like one day I'm watching satellite TV and I'm just flicking bored with my nut, and I come across, and I thought it was really amusing, man. And I'm sitting and this guy's going, yeah, for baby Jesus, we want your money for baby Jesus, and if you don't give my money, then if you give me $20, baby Jesus will give you $40, and if you give me $80, baby Jesus will give you $160. And he's saying all this, and I'm saying, what the fuck? And all these people, and it's hallelujah in the name of Jesus. And I'm like, man, wow, man. See, if Jesus had really come back, he would really be pissed off with people like John Hagee and some of these evangelist ministers, man, that are really, really warped, brother. Do you know? And they're saying, we'll teach you this and that and that and this. Yeah, these Muslims are bad. These Muslims are bad. And sometimes I can fault the propaganda sometimes, but everybody can, even me, and that. I watch some things and I think these Muslims are crazy. And I watch like what's happening in Israel, and they'll say these Jews are nuts. Do you know what I mean? Look how they're doing and that. And then I realise that we're just people, man. It's just people down here. It's understandings. We're killing for understandings, brother, because there's some other assholes benefiting from it. But he benefits from it. So, like a Nimrod, we'll create weapons and we'll confuse the people, and we'll benefit from it. And we need to be wary of these Nimrods, man. Military-industrial complexes. These people, they want war. Their business is war. Like,
you brought up a question to me. From studying Kabbalistic history, I've seen some stories say that the Kabbalah was first introduced to Adam by an angel in the Garden of Eden, and then which was mostly Kabbalistic technology and alchemy. And then there was fallen angels that came down in books of other. Dang, I can't even think of his name.
Enoch.
Exactly. Yeah, the books of Enoch. It talks about the stories of the fallen angels coming down and teaching man how to make weapons. They taught him magic and sorcery too, but how to use it in a bad way. And that's when most wars and like a huge amount of chaos came in, because man was given a superior divine knowledge and how to use it in a corrupt way. So that's where people get conflicted with how Kabbalah is used, both for good and bad, and that's why we're trying to make these podcasts.
Look at Nimrod, man. You're saying there, Cameron. This is an interesting one. They're called the Nephilim. Well, when God created the holy child, right? The creatures of the creatures, the holy creatures. You've got the cherubim, the Ophanim, and the seraphim, and the Nephilim, all ending in Neem. So there is truth to this, man. God did create these things, and there has been some kind of fallout up in what you could call above, because there's a fallout below, it's above, so below. Something's happened, man, and these din, call them din, right, which means it's the reference to Gebura, right? And then you get the word jinn, the Arabic word for like demons, jinn. Genies, stuff like these little genies in the lamp. And you look at the genies, Look at the story of a genie, Cameron. A genie would come and he would give you gifts. He would bestow you with free wishes, and you can, yeah. And then the story of the genies, actually, we just get the good story like Aladdin. No, the story of the genies, he would give you free wishes and then he would kill you. He would kill you after your third wish. He would kill you because he got you. He says, right, I can only get you. It's like a vampire. A vampire can't kill you. He can't kill you. He can't come into your home unless you invite it. Isn't that fascinating? So demon can't come into your home unless you invite it, man. Yeah, these people are inviting them, brother. Do you know what I mean? Inviting them in willingly for knowledge and wealth and yeah, nefesh, fucking war. Mentality, satisfy that instead of satisfying the higher mentality, which is pursuing knowledge and philosophy, and for the love of Sophia, philosophy, for the love of Sophia, the Shekinah's daughter, you know what I mean, or Shekinah herself, for the love of her. Yeah, we need to love the Shekinah, brother, but it's corrupted. Tetragrammaton's been corrupted, brother. And he even says in the Zohar, man, he even says in the Song of Solomon's, yeah, she says, I can't tell my own gardens and my own vines and trees because I have to tell others and show others. People are using me for dodgy shit. These Nimrod peoples, you know what I mean? These people have got to confuse us and make war on us. And I told a friend this, man, and he did it. But this is like a guy who works and stuff. He's a mason. He is a mason, and I told him it, and he was like, "If the people are stupid enough, then it's their own fault." And it's like, yeah, that just shows you your lower mind-based mentality, mate. I've never spoke to the guy since. I thought, you're just a cock, mate. You know what I mean? Fuck off, I'll never speak to you again. When I told him that's what he said to me. Yeah, well, some people are just idiots, mate. So if you've got the military-industrial complex doing this, then people are stupid. It's their own fault. You say, no, it doesn't work like that, mate. You need to fight for good men just to say that and turn their backs. That's how bad men prosper, brother. You need more people like us, Cameron, standing up and saying, wait a minute, man, we know what you're doing. We've studied magic. We've studied real magic. None of your Harry Potter pitch. I mean real ceremonial magic. Cornelius Agrippa, whatever you want to call it. Yes, some of that, your celestial, your earthly magic or natural magic, and then you've got your celestial ceremonial, then you've got your ceremonial magic, which is what happens in the Catholic Church. They're the biggest ceremonial magicians on the planet, brother. They do all this funny shit all the years, the priests wear funny robes. Yeah, for me, like we were speaking about with Adam Weishaupt, they created Adam Weishaupt to infiltrate every lodge because they want to gain all this knowledge. They want every book. Look at the Catholic Church, they usurp everything. Some great books and knowledge coming in, man. It would help people, they've usurped it. Book Enoch, they said, shouldn't be revealed. It shouldn't be in the Bible, you know what I mean? Keep this book away from people because there's too much understanding. This takes certain texts and will make sure people will not get them. Let's look at the Nag Hammadis. They say that the Nag Hammadis even had the writings of Jesus. The Catholic Church have got most of them as well. So you're never going to be revealed the writings of Yeshua or Jesus because he was a rabbi. So the man could probably write. Rabbi means a scholar or teacher. So he wasn't an illiterate. Jesus was an illiterate. I rightly. Yeah, sure. Your hair's nice. Do you know what I mean, brother? It's like, fuck off, man. I'm not buying that. I'm not buying it. The milk turns out to be sour, mate. I ain't the kind of pussy to be drinking it. Do you know what I mean, mate? It's like, something's not right here. And it's back to your Nimrods. Let's worship fire. Let's worship fire. Abraham says, nah, man, let's worship water. In fact, let's not worship water, let's worship air because the air carries the clouds, we carry the water. Do you know what I mean? You want to worship fire, I'll go and get a bucket of water in front of your fire and I'll put it out immediately. Do you know? That's how you've got the Aleph Mem Shin being fire. Yeah, Alephs, that's what we are, we're the Aleph, we should be the Aleph. The one that judges between them, and judges wisely as King Solomon says. Yeah, because that's what it's all about, man. Evil's falsity and truth is fact. You break it down, man. We want to take to a metaphysical understanding. That's what it is, isn't it? You know what I mean? Tob and Ra, good and bad, sharp and blunt. The Hermetic principles, polarities, there's an opposite in everything. Do you know what I mean? Everything's the same. Hot and cold's the same thing. It's just separate by degree. You need to look at that and differentiate, like we were saying, Cameron. look for evils. We know evil, man. Everybody knows evil when you see it. You know what I mean? You can slip the nose in your face, brother. Maybe you can't see it, but if you look in the mirror, you'll see it. Do you know what I mean? So when you're looking at other people out and about, you're seeing evil when they're committing evil. That's like looking in the mirror. You should go over and see what you're doing, man. You don't do that. How many people would watch another person today? Oh, there was somebody done it not long ago. They done a survey type thing, and they got a couple of people to pretend to attack somebody, just to, you know, in the middle of the street, just to watch people, what would happen with people passing by. And they done it about 30 times, and I only think one person intervened and tried to stop it and said, "Look, you shouldn't, that's bad, man," you know what I mean? And yeah, a lot of people just stood and watched it, got their phones out, filmed it. You know what I mean? Fucking hell.
Well, I appreciate you talking with me on here. It's almost been 2 hours now. I'm gonna see what I can do with this. And,
magically, brother.
Yeah, maybe we'll come up with some more topics and do some more of this.
Because I don't want to stick to just talking about like the low base stuff like that. We've got that out. I prefer reading like say the stuff about physics and stuff. Yeah, some weird shit about physics and time itself, and how time works kabbalistically, and it's weird. It's fascinating. It really is, because when you look at quantum physics and Ed Whitman, people like that. Yeah, these people try to tell us Kabbalah, try to tell us God, man, the universe.
Yeah, that's why I'm going to try to go on some of the alchemical topics that I'm speaking about, because alchemy is where most of our knowledge came from. Physics, science, psychology, philosophy, anatomy, really the sciences, you know, knowledge in general came from alchemy. And you can only go so far in alchemy without understanding Kabbalah. And Kabbalah is just you know, it also means the secret or the tradition. But I've also noticed from studying Kabbalah that all religions have a type of Kabbalah. It's whatever their system or tradition has been based off of, and they're all based off of a similar system. And understanding the Kabbalah will help you map out and connect all of them together and realize that really there's truth in everything. It's just how it's interpreted that makes it good or bad.
It's like me with the Quran, Cameron. I was reading the Quran, so I could look for it. Say it's Merkaba, it's Merkaba, it's Merkaba teachings, man. Because at the end, the Prophet Muhammad left for Jerusalem. It's like the Chayoff. He left the same as all the great prophets. He left on the Chayoff Hakadosh. Do you know the holy chariot? And then there's chariot magic, about Merkaba magic in the Quran. Do you know what I mean? But a Muslim will go, oh, no. And it's like me, you're aping in the face of reason here, brother. You just want to take this shit literal. And if you take it literal, you'll kill people. God's saying, look, there's 4 ways to interpret these books, and if you don't learn how to interpret these books right, then you're going to really cause devastation in each other. I'll give you good knowledge here. But that's what I'm saying. The books are beautiful. But what happens is man understanding says, well, God's kind of, I think he's seen this, so we'll introduce this. If we catch a woman, say, having sex outside the marriage, then we'll put her in a pit, fill mud up to her neck, and we'll fling stones at her head till she's dead. We'll stone her to death. You go, nah man, that's the kind of shit that we're doing like thousands of years ago. Man's evolving, we're evolving, so like, all things we should be able to take, which is good, or which parts of your society and cultures and even government and stuff. Take the stuff that's good and get rid of the shit and try and introduce new stuff. Evolve. Do you know what I mean? Evolve, brother. We're not evolving, man. It's like Albert Einstein says, if you keep on doing the same experiment and getting the same outcome, and keep on doing that experiment hoping for a different outcome, then that's stupidity. That's an idiot. That's what's happening. We're doing the same shit and we're just getting the same outcome, instead of saying, like, let's tweak this little bit here alchemically, let's tweak this little bit here and tweak this little bit here and give this a good tweaking. You know, like introduce some other stuff. Corporations are no good, but corporations are good. You know, a co-op where the man at the top and the man at the bottom, who are all working for the common good of this corporation, are all benefiting equally for the same amount. That's a great idea. I think we should introduce that. That's beautiful. Let's introduce certain ways of teaching our kids. Let's try and introduce greener, cleaner ways of living. Let's look at new medicines, because the pharmaceutical industry today is turned into a corporation which is all finance, money based. So they don't want to cure cancer, brother. They want to keep this shit going, so they make money instead of saying, right, we've got a cure for cancer, let's cure this shit. You know, it's back to this again. People just want to make people before profit. Yeah, we need to stop that. Anyway, it's been a great show anyway, man. That's been a great show. Like, we've laid stuff out beautifully there, brother.
You definitely brought up some good topics, man. I enjoyed you spending your time discussing
Yeah,
these
well,
things.
fucking you, Cameron, you're a wise young man, brother. Do you know what I mean? And it's good to be able to tell people the shit I've found through studying, and people will be able to go, yeah, I actually understand what you're speaking about. Understanding, brothers, you know. Because some people understand what we're speaking about. You know, some people don't, and they get enamoured by the mystery and they go, oh, this is fascinating. And then they start to look, and then they'll come to their own understandings, and then they'll be able to say to me and you, oh, wait a minute, Paul, I didn't quite agree with you there, brother. I think this is like this. And I go, oh, that's beautiful, I've never seen that. Thanks for pointing that out. That's brilliant, mate. We're learning from each other. Instead of saying, you know, but I get crabbit. Crabbit means angry. I get crabbit with people when you're showing them stuff and they're just saying, no, you're wrong. You say, right, this is a source-based discussion. Let's explain it, brother. Do you know what I mean? Explain why I'm wrong. And that doesn't fucking happen. It doesn't, mate. Yeah.
Alright, brother. Well, I'm going to end this right here, and we'll pick it up on another time.
You'll be able to edit this bit out. Yeah. This is going to be a great show, brother.